Good morning, everyone. Leah Dixon here from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. I am live with this week's card class to go featuring the Rhino Ready stamp set and dies. This is a special set that's available online only. It's a part of the Stampin' Up's online exclusives, and it is absolutely adorable. I'm so excited to be here and sharing this with you. It's been a few weeks since I've done a weekly card class to go. I kind of took some time off due to illness and then spring break and report cards and all of that. But I am back with my weekly card classes, and these should go right through to July. July will have a little bit of a break because I'm going to be going on a big trip, but I have something special planned for you guys for July. Since it's been a while, and in case you're new to watching, how my weekly card classes to go work is that I am going to demonstrate 3 cards today, and then with a $60 purchase using my host code, you will actually receive as a thank you from me all the stuff that you need to make 2 of each of the cards that I show today. And in the description of the video, I do have the supplies that you'll want to have on hand at home. Only the consumables are included in the card class, so you'll want to have your own stamp set and dies. You'll want to have your own inks and adhesives, but that's all listed in the description. So I'm going to switch over to my desktop and we'll get started with our card class. All right, so here's kind of a close-up of, I'll just take away that banner too, because that's going to be in our way. There we go. So here is the stamp set. It is so adorable. You get the 3 little rhinos, some grass, some little accessories, and some great sentiments, birthday sentiments, and just like friend and support kind of sentiments. Fantastic. And then our dies cut out our rhinos and our grass and our little extra pieces, but then we also have these great leaves in the background, a little party hat, and some trees. And so the dies are really fantastic that way. All right, I'm just going to move on over, and I see people are popping on. So as you pop on, if you want to say hi, let me know who's here and watching. I love to know who's joining me. The first card that we're going to do today is this little guy. I'll actually give you a little close-up of him. And so there's 2 papers on this card. One of them is the Delicate Desert 12 by 12 designer series paper. And it's a really beautiful paper that has one side with like all sorts of soft, like deserty looks, and then the other ones are all textures or kind of Aztec style patterns. So really, really beautiful colors, beautiful patterns. And yeah, so that is the paper that we're using today. And then you can see that the leaves kind of have like a little metallic-y look to them. That is the coordinating dry brush metallic 12 by 12 specialty designer series paper. And so it comes in the Calypso Coral and then in like a bluish green. So those are the 2 papers that I'm using to go along with our rhinos. So let me grab my set. Here we go. So as a person receiving my card class, you would actually receive 2 envelopes, and you wouldn't get just a strip of the dry brush metallic. You'd actually get your leaves die cut for you. Oh, good morning. Bonjour. Thanks for joining me. So here we go. I'm just going to empty out all the stuff from our envelope. And so we've got this beautiful piece here. This one has been cut out with the Radiating Stitches dies. They're these beautiful rectangle dies, and then there's 2 circles and a heart as well, all with that stitching on the outside. So pretty. So to get started with this card, we're actually going to just glue down some of our layers just to kind of get them out of the way. So you're going to find that you have a full sheet and a little strip of the Delicate Desert designer series paper. You could actually choose whichever side you'd want, like maybe you want a brighter card and then these leaves will pop out. I kind of like the monochromatic, so I did mine all in the green. And the first thing that we're going to do is actually glue this small strip just to the edge of our basic white layer. This is actually going to become the inside of our card. And so it's always nice to do a little bit of decorating. I didn't want to stamp a whole other rhino inside my card. So I thought, well, we'll just pull some of our GSP into there and give it a little bit of interest on the inside. So we've glued that down. Now we can take our card base. This is an evening evergreen card base. And we can glue this to the inside of our card base. So I am using liquid glue, but you can use whatever adhesive you like to use to glue this inside. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to get a new bottle pretty soon. All right, now when I glue this in, I want my designer series paper strip to be along the right-hand edge. So just make sure that you're doing that so that it will open up the way you want it to. There we go. And then I'm going to take the full sheet of designer series paper and glue it to the front of our card. All right, oh, come on. There we go. Yeah. All right, and so with that, I'm just going to line that up. Now I like the liquid glue because I don't have to get it perfectly straight right away. I can kind of wiggle it around there. All right, so we've got our kind of base done. Now we get to have some fun with some stamping and some die cutting. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my sentiment on our little radiated stitched rectangle. I'm actually going to use Evening Evergreen for that. And the way that I kind of wanted to do this, I haven't even die cut this yet. I'm just going to pop it in the corner like it is a leaf. Okay, and then, where's my block? There we go. I am going to take my sentiments and I'm actually going to pop them on here. That one down in the corner. And then this one kind of over a little bit, but making sure that it stays inside the radiating stitches. There we go. And once I have those two lined up, I'm actually going to put my block on top of them. And now I've picked them up and I can stamp my two sentiments at the same time. All right, so now I'll ink up both sentiments. And then come back down to my bottom right-hand corner with my Built Tough and stamp that. So now those are in the right spot. And this is handy if you're making a bunch of these cards, because now you don't have to keep lining up those sentiments. You just have to line up the bottom right-hand corner and you are good to go. Okay, with that done, I'm put away that ink and I'm going to pull out my Memento ink. And we're going to stamp a little birdie on here. So I love that this little bird comes separate, and we're going to pop him right down into the corner of where it says you're Built Tough. And then I'm going to grab my sitting rhino and stamp him onto the extra piece of basic white that I've got here. Okay, there we go. So I've got him stamped on there. So with my two rhinos stamp, or my rhino and my bird stamp, I'm going to do a little bit of coloring. And to do that, I'm going to use my Smoky Slate blends, my Petal Pink blends, and I'm also going to use a blender pen with some Flirty Flamingo ink, which is an ink that's going to show up in one of our next cards. Oh, I know, Kim. The Rhino set is absolutely adorable. Absolutely love it. So what I've done here is I just squeezed my ink pad, like so, just with it closed, I gave it a little squeeze. And then you'll see that there's some ink on the lid of my ink pad. So I'm going to leave that open. I'm going to grab one of my blender pens. So they come in a pack of 3. Just going to double check that the tip is clean, even though it looks a little bit dirty. When I color with it, no color comes off, so that means it's clean. And I'm going to pick up some ink out of the lid of my ink pad and then just test it over on the side. So it's looking good. And I'm going to use this to color in my little birdie. And so this is a great way if you don't have all the markers and stuff, or you don't have the blender pens, you can just pop in here with a blender pen. Or sorry, if you don't have the Stampin' blends, you can pop in there with a blender pen, pick up some color, and apply it to your images. Oh, hello. It just says Facebook user. I'm not sure who just joined us, but thanks for watching. All right, so I'm going to put away that Flirty Flamingo for now. We're going to use it on a few more cards, but put that one off to the side for now. And we're going to color our Rhino. So I am taking the light petal pink, and I'm using the larger paintbrush end to color in our Rhino's horn and his toenails. I don't know what color Rhino's toenails actually are, but ours are going to be petal pink. I am also then going to take the smoky slate. I'm taking both the light and the dark. I'm going to start with the light. I'm going to grab our birdie again and give him a little light gray beak. And then I am going to take the larger paintbrush end and color most of our Rhino. So I like to use like kind of circular motions. And trying to avoid his eye. I don't want to get the whites of his eyes all gray. So these little circular motions kind of staying inside the lines. Like you totally don't have to, but I just find it creates a nicer coloring if you do. And then we'll come down here along this edge. Okay, I can tell that I have been using a lot of smoky slate lately. My marker's not dry, but I can tell that it's a lot drier than it has been in the past. I think I've been coloring too many Rhinos. All right, there we go. So I've got that all colored. Then I'm going to grab my dark smoky slate, again with the paintbrush end, and I'm just going to come in and add in some darkness to the spots that they've already kind of identified with their little lines. And then I'm going to come back with the small tip of my smoky slate just for this one edge and kind of do some circular motions and blend this in a bit. There we go. And yeah, that's blending quite nicely. All right. There. Okay. So there is our little Rhino all colored in. Oh, hi, Danielle. Good morning. Hi, Greta. Thanks. So there's our cute little Rhino all colored in. I love how you can just so easily create tone with our Stampin' blends without, like, trust me, guys, I am not a fantastic colorer. It's just how easy the blends make it. All right, we're going to do some die cutting now. So I'm going to move this off to the side. I'm going to grab our piece of dry brush metallic DSP, handful or mouthful. I'm going to grab my little boho blue machine here and pop this in. So I'm going to grab my Rhino and the die that cuts him out. There we go. I'm going to move him up a little bit on this plate because I'm going to try and fit in my dry brush metallic as well so I can cut some leaves at the same time. So I'm going to pop this on. I wonder if I can do them side by side. I bet I can. There we go. Okay, don't worry. I will line him up a bit better in a second. I do like to start with the light first, add the dark, and then go back in with the fine tip of the light to do the blending. I find you get like a better blend. If you want a more subtle blend, then I would do the dark first and then go over the whole thing with light. Oh, have a good time. What a gorgeous day. I hope you're heading out to see the horsies, Danielle. Have a great time. It's a little chilly out though. I was out earlier and it's not as warm as it looks. All right, so we've got that lined up. We've got 2 of our leaves on our paper, and now I am going to run these all through. Okay, there we go. Oh, and Danielle, the PDF for this will get posted later this week on our team page. That's kind of a little perk I have for my team, is that they don't get the make and takes, but they do get the PDF instructions as kind of a freebie from me for being part of my team. All right, so we actually need our machine one more time because I need 1 more leaf. Oh, 2 more leaves actually. I was going to cut out 2 anyways because I have the space to. I always cut out extras so then I can have them just on hand for whatever project I may want them for. All right, so I'm going to actually turn those. I want the tips to be darker. There we go. Doesn't really matter. Oh, I'm missing a plate. I'm missing my top plate. Huh. It's been a while since I stamped. It's been a rough few, not rough, but just busy few months, and I haven't had as much time to stamp as I would like. All right, there we go. Put that off to the side. All right. Okay, so now we have 4 gorgeous leaves with this beautiful strip of shiny stuff. And I'm going to put my dies back so I don't lose them. I absolutely love this tropical leaf die. It's just the cutest, perfect size. And it has all like the embossing and everything on it. I don't know if you guys can see that. So it's got like actual little lines for detail and everything. It's so pretty. Okay, so now that we've got that done, we're going to take all of our bits and attach them to our card. Now I am actually going to glue this piece down. I have a new glue though. That other one was getting a little empty. All right. So I just take a little dot of glue. Now with this one, because it's got the radiated stitches along the side, I'm trying to stay in away from those so I don't have glue coming out my edges. And then do my best to center that. There we go. And then our Rhino will get attached with some dimensionals. I'm going to keep the dimensionals kind of like towards his inside because I'm going to be tucking the leaves behind him. So I'm going to do kind of just 2 right down his center and try and keep them out of the way. So with that done, I'm going to pop him on here, just at the bottom of our words. Then I'm going to grab some mini glue dots and my take your pick tool. Here we go. And I'm going to pick up a mini glue dot, pop it onto the back of my leaf, just right at kind of the base of the leaf. And then I'm going to tuck that under and push it down. And we're just going to keep doing that all the way around. So now I'll take a little small one and again pop that down at the base. You could use liquid glue, but because it's got the kind of little slits cut through it, I really didn't want to because I don't want any glue coming through. Plus the mini glue dots create a really fast hold. All right, do another small leaf because I'm pretty sure, let's just double check that I left. Yeah, there we go. Our big leaf will fit nicely there. So another small leaf here with a mini glue dot. Put that up near the top of our Rhino. And then finally a mini glue dot for this big leaf. There we go. So we are almost done. The last thing to do is to add an embellishment. So I have chosen, and then I don't know where I put them. Thanks. I chose to use the opals that I now don't see anywhere on my desk. Interesting. Hmm. No. Well, I might have to use a different embellishment. Oh, there they are. Ha, they were hiding. All right, so I am using the In Color opal rounds. You guys, these are the in colors that are going to be going out. You can see I have a whole bunch of that are just partially used. It's kind of ridiculous. These are the in colors that are going out this year. These are, come on. They've been in for 2 years now. And we are unfortunately going to be saying goodbye to them at the end of April. So I'm going to be very sad to see some of these colors go away, especially the Evening Evergreen and the Soft Succulent, and actually the Fresh Freesia. I love them all. All right, so there we go. I've used 3 of the Evening Evergreen In Color opal rounds on that one. And so you could just mix it up and use different sizes, but I am running low on my small Evening Evergreen, so I'm just trying to use up my big ones. The paper again. Yeah, for sure, Kim. It is absolutely gorgeous. So it is the Delicate Desert Designer Series paper that I'm using. And so we've got patterns and different Aztec patterns and stuff in here, as well as some textured stuff, and then some really beautiful desert scene kind of watercolory stuff. And then the shiny paper I'm using is our dry brush metallic specialty DSP, and so it comes in kind of this calypso coral shade and then a greenish blue shade as well, which is what we used on this page. And so yeah, that is our finished card, our first finished card. So we have our nice little accent on the inside. You could even cut some more leaves and put them in here if you wanted to be super fancy. And that's it. I know, isn't that die cut amazing, Janet? So that's our first card. So you will get the supplies to make 2 of these cards. You just need your own stamp set, inks, and adhesives. But everything else will come in your kit to make that card. All right, our second card doesn't even use the Rhino, you guys. There we go. Actually, I'll give you a nice close-up view of it. So we've got that shiny paper on there again, and then the beautiful watercolor layers, and we're using the tree dye on this one. So here we go. We've got all of our bits in here. Pull that out. Now you will get the die cut pieces for your tree in your kit, but I wanted to show you how easy these are. Some dies are really finicky and not my thing. These dies are so easy to use. So we'll actually just start with our die cutting for that one. Let's put this. So I drop all my plates. Oh my goodness. So I've just got a piece of basic black cardstock here. I think I just dropped my other plate into my garbage can. Yep. Yikes. All right. So we've got that. And then we actually have 2 different sizes of trees to choose from. So I actually use the more branchy base, and I use the larger, we've got lots of different things going on here. So I use the largest tree topper. Okay, and I love that, again, it has the little slit cut through it. It's very decorative and detailed for being basically a silhouette die. All right, here we go. And now this is what I love though. Some dies just don't come out easily. Oh, of course, this one's going to stick in there, but that's okay. That's easy to poke. Oh, not with that. You can't. There we go. Easy to poke it out. But like you don't get like all the little funny bits flying everywhere. It's just like a really easy pop out. And same with this little guy. He comes out so easily with no finicky little bits. You don't get little scraps of paper everywhere. I mean, those detailed ones are gorgeous, but these ones are so easy to work with. So there we go. We've got our tree. Voila. So with that done, this card is literally just a glue the layers kind of card. So you've got your crumb cake card base. And I actually like to do this kind of starting from the top. Actually, let's do it that way. So I've got my beautiful background. Now that my piece that I cut here is not quite as beautiful as the one on my sample. I don't know, I must have been in a rush cutting this sample one. Most of them will have the 3 layers of color. This one just has the 2. And well, somehow I managed to pick up my empty glue again. There we go. All right, I'm going to have to find my other glue again. Find it for the next one. All right, so we're going to take that piece, glue it down to a piece of pale papaya. So this is another one of our retiring in colors this year, guys. And then maybe you wanted to stamp this first. I'm a little bit crazy, and apparently I'm going to stamp on a glued together card. And we're going to take that sentiment that says you're stronger than you think and stamp it right along the bottom. All right, so it's pretty easy to line up. Stamps pretty well. And that is our only stamping on this card. All right, so now let's get my good glue. We're going to keep gluing layers. So I have a piece of crumb cake here that's been embossed with the Painted Textures 3D embossing folder. And we're going to just glue that also to a pale papaya layer. Not too much glue. So that gets glued to a pale papaya layer, and then we'll glue that to our crumb cake layer. There we go. We're going to take this fancy piece of dry brush metallic. Now, I'm not going to use glue on the back of this. I'm kind of a freak that way when it comes to shiny things and liquid glue. I just don't do it. Any of our metallic foil papers, like any of that, I just don't. So I've just grabbed some Seal here, and I usually use Seal Plus. I prefer how it rolls, but I also have my Seal here, so I might as well use it. And it's strong enough to hold this kind of thing. All right, and then let's place that across. There we go. We've glued that down. Now this piece we're going to put on with dimensional fill, but while I've got my glue out, I'm just going to put a white layer inside. I know you can write on a crumb cake card and it will be visible. However, I just like how a card looks finished if it has the white layer inside. There we go. So I've got that. And now we're going to grab, I'm just going to get rid of this other glue. We're going to grab some dimensionals and pop them onto our card here. So I'm going to do 5 on the back of this. And when we put this onto our card, I'm not centering it. I'm actually going to put it down a little bit high so that it goes over top of that metallic piece. So there is actually, it's almost like I've got equal borders on my sides and top, but then a bigger border at my bottom. Okay, and now for my tree. My tree I'm actually going to stick down with, believe it or not, just one mini glue dot. And then some dimensionals for the topper. If you want a bigger hold on this, then you could go ahead and use glue, or if you have the dies and you're die cutting it yourself, you could die cut it with adhesive sheet on the back. But I actually find that just one little mini glue dot right there, tuck it under, and then this is the part where I'm kind of gonna put this down where I want it, and then line up my tree so that the branches will hit it the way I want it to. There we go. So I've got my tree trunk on there now, and then I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back. Now, originally I've used actually white dimensionals, but you know what? I have them and I never remember to use them. I'm going to grab them right now. We have black dimensionals, you guys, mini and regular size. So I'm actually going to grab 2 mini black dimensionals. And isn't that cool? Now you can't see that there's dimensionals behind there. Love it. All right. I'm going to pop that on just like that. And those dimensionals are grabbing the tops of the tree and going to help hold it in place as well. So that is that just about done. We have our in color opal rounds to add to this one. And because they're in color, they're the right colors, I actually have pale papaya to add to this card. So I am going to grab, maybe it won't let me. There we go. I'm going to grab some pale papaya. It's funny how some colors went faster than others. This paper is perfect for the pale papaya though. Come on. And then I'm going to throw one down over there. Okay, so there's our pale papaya in color opal rounds on that card. And we are done. So this is a really beautiful card. Like you could even change up the sentiment and, you know, make it a sympathy card, a birthday card, like a thank you, all kinds of things. It's just a really simple, beautiful card. And cool that it was done with the kind of cutesy Rhino stamp set. You wouldn't tell that this was a cutesy stamp set. All right, and our last card for today is kind of a little pop-up fun fold card. So that little rhino really pops out at you on this card. And we'll grab our bits. So it is just a standard card base. We've just scored it a little bit differently. So we'll grab that. For this one, we took a regular 8.5 by 5.5 card base, but then I did some funky different score lines. Don't quote me on this, but I think it's like 2, 3 1/4, maybe 6 oh no, I don't know. I can't remember right now. I do have it in my written instructions for you. If you get the card class, I do have the details, and I have done this fold before. If you go back in my stuff, I do have the measurements somewhere. Unfortunately, I've got a centimeter ruler on my desk today, so I can't really tell you. And then we've cut DSP just to fit into the spaces. Okay. So these are cut at 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. This is 2 by 5 1/4. That might help you actually figure out the measurements. Yeah, because I'm really bad right now. I cannot remember them. I know they like included eighths and weird stuff like that. So here we go. We're going to just glue these down. Step 1, glue your DSP. And so you can use either side. It doesn't actually matter. And the idea here is we're just centering these strips of DSP onto your folds. There we go. And let's go like this. Yours will come all pre-scored as well. You'll get the measurements and your cardstock will be pre-scored properly because I'll go look it up and read it. Okay, here we go. All right, and then this last one goes right in the center. It's so hard sometimes to choose which side to use as well. I find the patterns are so pretty on both sides. Now this one, I actually want that darker strip to be at the top. There we go. I guess at this point it doesn't matter. I could have made either side the top. That's kind of silly. All right. So yeah, this is a great card. It doesn't matter which way you glue your DSP. You can decide which side's the top afterwards when you decide which way you're going to glue everything else on. All right, so now to fold this one, you fold that in and fold it back, fold that in and fold it back. And now we have our card base all done. So now we get to do the decorating. So I'm going to put our card base off to the side and grab our paper. So you've got the largest stylish shaped circle pre-cut for you, and we're going to start with our stamping on there. So I need my Memento black ink. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, I don't. Whew. Good thing I looked at that card. You need your soft succulent ink. Yikes. We're going to use soft succulent, and I'm going to actually stamp my first set of grass kind of in what will be the middle of my card, because I want to make sure that it's like off the bottom of the circle. I don't want to see any grass kind of like popping up. Now I do have some spaces there. I could have gotten them closer, could have used sticky notes to do masking and stuff, but it's not really going to matter because when we put our Rhino down, you're not really going to see those gaps. Now I'm going to keep my soft succulent out. You can see I've already kind of squeezed it like I did with the Flirty Flamingo earlier. And I'm going to pick up some soft succulent ink onto a blender pen, and I'm going to use it to color in this grass. Okay, so if you have the blends, absolutely go ahead, use the blends to do this. But I just figured with the Flirty Flamingo and the soft succulent, we're already using the inks. Maybe you don't have the Stampin blends. And so this is just a way to get one tool that allows you to use all your inks without having to have extra of every color. All right. I do highly recommend the Stampin blends, though. They are like probably my favorite coloring tool. But this works just as well, and especially for things like the little bird and the grass, because they're small spaces. I do find the blender pen is a little bit challenging to use when you're coloring larger spaces. To get it like looking nice, I find I've gotten so used to the streak-free look of the blends that it bothers me when I color things and I can see the streaks. But on such a small space like this, it doesn't come into play. All right, so we'll put away our soft succulent ink now. And I am going to grab my Flirty Flamingo ink again. Oh, I didn't even put it away. I'm going to grab my Flirty Flamingo again. And another sentiment from this stamp set. It says, "Hope your birthday is wild." And I'm going to stamp that in, I guess, what would be like the top left-hand corner of our circle that has no corners. There you go. So we've got that all stamped. Oh, I'm going to need that Flirty Flamingo again. I'm going to leave it out because we're now going to stamp our Rhino and color him in. And he has a little bird on his back, this one. He's so cute. There he is with his little bird on his back. We'll grab our Memento black ink, and we're going to give him a little stamp onto our scrap paper here. There we go. Love him. Put that away now. And now I'm going to grab that Flirty Flamingo, and I'm going to start with our little birdie. So with our blender pen, pick up some ink and color in our little bird. There we go. Always adorable. All right. And then we're going to color this rhino exactly how we colored the last one. We're going to grab our petal pink, big, light petal pink, big paintbrush end. I'm going to color in that horn and those toes. There we go. I think this time around I'm going to use the dark petal pink for the beak. And there we go. And then we're going to grab our light smoky slate and color in our whole rhino. All right. So I do, like I said before, I do kind of like try and stay in the lines and color circular and in small sections. By doing this, it kind of helps it blend nicely. You don't get weird lines. I mean, although the Stampin' blends are pretty good, you don't tend to get lines anyways, but just in case, I find that this just helps keep a really nice smooth look. There we go. And I don't like to color too much near the edges, so I do tend to outline my images before I color in the insides. And then the more you color in a spot, the darker it will be. So be aware of that. I'll do our little horn base. Come in and add some color there and there, there. All right. And then I'll come back with my small end and I will blend that. There we go. Okay. And a little bit of blending there, a little bit there. There. All right. There we go. All right. Okay, just about done. So you kind of just blend him until he's got the look you want. And as he dries as well, you'll see like a lot of your lines go away and it truly like blends. There we go. All right. There's our little rhino. Oh, love him. So there he is all colored in. He's so cute. All right, now he has a die. Thank goodness. So let's bring this in. And we're actually going to die cut him and some leaves at the same time. So I've got this. I'm going to line up that die right around him, right around the bird, all the things. And then I've got another piece of that metallic. And we have a different leaf this time. We have this beautiful long, actually I'm going to start it this way. This beautiful long, I don't know, like 3-leaf leaf. More of a grassy leaf than a tropical leaf. Paper's flying. Okay. There we go. Roll that through. And then we're going to roll our longer leaf through 2 more times. Let's just straighten out the desktop here. Yikes. Okay. So I've got that shiny paper. Oh, it stayed inside his die, so I'm just going to poke that so it pops out. And again, this is just like the trees and everything. The dies are so easy. They don't have loose bits. It's quite lovely. All right, I'm going to pop that one on like that. Actually, we're not. We're going to turn that around. That way I'll actually be able to fit all of these in. There. And so your leaves will come die cut in your set. But of course, if you grab some extra dry brushed metallic paper for yourself in your order, then you'll be able to make more of these if you have the dies yourself. Okay. And then one last set of leaves, right like that. Oh, not quite through. There we go. All the way through. Okay. And these ones just get popped out just like that. There we go. All right. So we'll put those off to the side, and now we get to put our card together. So before I put this onto my card front, I'm actually going to put everything onto my card. So I'm going to start with my Rhino. He gets some dimensionals. Just 2 on him is fine. 1 at the front, 1 at the back. Peel those backings off. And when I put them down, I just want to make sure that the bird doesn't hit the words and that his feet are kind of down near the bottom. All right, just like that. Then I'm going to grab my mini glue dots and I'm going to take your pick tool and I'm going to just attach all of these leaves to our card. So I'm going to take that. I'm just kind of putting the mini glue dot down near the bottom leaf and then kind of folding it in, so kind of squishing it in so that it stays behind the leaf. And now this one I'm going to use right there. So I want it hidden kind of behind my Rhino and then coming up beside my words. And for all of them, I'm going to do the same kind of glue, just that one bottom leaf. This mini glue dot is strong enough to hold everything in place. And that's all we really need to hold this onto our card. Now this guy, oops, this guy you want to make sure he's not covering up your words. Ay, come on. Don't cover the words. So you want to get him on the right angle before you push it down so that he's not covering any words. Now. And then our last one. And I do like it if they kind of pop off the edges of the circle. They're not going to go off the edges of the card because the card is, I'm going to actually move that one up a bit. Come on. Oh, let's go. There we go. I'm going to move this one up just a tiny bit so that it's sticking up further on my card. All right. I want it still tucked behind my Rhino so it doesn't look like it's floating, but I wanted it up higher. There we go. Okay. So we've got that, and it's not going to stick off the edges of the card because we still have more edging than just this width of our circle. Oh, hi, Jacqueline. Thanks for joining. Just playing around with the Rhinos, just finishing up our last card. So now this guy's going to get attached to the front of our card. And we're going to do that with dimensionals. So what I'm actually going to do is put my dimensionals not on the back of my circle, but on the front of my card. Okay, and I'm kind of just doing that to make sure that wherever they go will stay behind the circle. And then I'll peel those off and attach my circle. Take that. And you could center it, you could put it up a little bit higher, lower, whichever you prefer. So there, we've got that. And then our final touch on this is to, again, add some more in color opal rounds. Okay, here, I've got lots of pink on this one. Oh, yeah, that one's almost done. We'll use up that one. So I am actually going to use the polished pink on this. And here we go. Just pop, oh, come on. There we go. Pop these on, and I'm kind of creating like a diagonal pattern up the front of my card. So got those. And then we'll come up to our circle and fill in some space. I'm having a really hard time with these today. There. And another small one. And then finally, one last opal round kind of up at the top there. And so we've just kind of done a diagonal down the front of our card using the opal rounds. And that is our finished card. And so on this one, you can just flip it over and write your message on the inside. Your message will be hidden away when they have their card on display, but you'll have this beautiful card that stands up so nicely on a shelf or something to be put on display. So that was our third card. I'll just bring in all of the cards so you can see again what the whole class will be. And you can get this, all the make and takes to create these, just by placing a $60 order using my host code that's in the description of this video. You can do that all the way until Sunday, April 2nd. And then ordering will close on this card class. So that is everything. Oh, thank you guys so much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining. I hope you guys enjoyed that. You can share this card class as well. The video replay will be here. And when you get your PDF, you'll also get a link to the YouTube of this card class so that you can go back and rewatch it as you have your materials and are trying to recreate them. So you'll have the PDF and the link to the video. Oh, thanks, Janet. Enjoy. I hope if you've got the rhinos, you're going to take some time and make these. They're such fun cards. So beautiful. So thank you guys very, very much for joining me. And hopefully you'll either order this class or check out my online calendar of events. I've started doing in-person card classes again. So I offer private classes as well as coffee and cards once a month, and then some other online stuff. Take care. Bye-bye.